Welcome to week 6 NFL recap. A lot of upsets, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of breaking news that I kind of want to talk over, and we're going to talk about all that stuff right now. One of the first big upsets of the week, guys, the Falcons actually beat the 49ers this week, and the 49ers were projected to beat them by more than a touchdown. It actually became the other way around. Marcus Mariota and the Falcons actually did their thing this week, beating the Niners 28-14, and that's probably one of the first upsets of the week. The New England Patriots beat the Cleveland Browns 38-15, and the Browns were actually projected to win this game as well. Bailey Zappi, rookie quarterback, starting his second game, threw more than 300 yards and actually looked like he was a decent professional quarterback. He actually did his thing, and the Patriots, in a way, upsetted the Cleveland Browns, making sure the Cleveland run game was basically non-existent, making Jacoby Brissett pass, and he did pass for more than 250 yards, but still the Patriots won this game 38-15. The Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Indianapolis Colts, an in-division rivalry, and guys, this game was all but exciting, guys. Matt Ryan threw for 58 times, which is his own personal record, throwing for 389 yards. Michael Pittman caught for more than 130 yards, and the Indianapolis Colts are actually thriving in the very early beginning of the seasons. They didn't look in sync. Now they're starting to catch some rhythm and actually beating a pretty decent Jacksonville Jaguars defense that is trying to make a statement in the NFL and trying to make a push for the division. The Colts are looking like a threat to win the division this year. The Minnesota Vikings at Miami in the Miami Dolphins Stadium. One of the biggest concerns, guys, or biggest question marks is that the Miami sidelines, right? The Miami Dolphins offense and the whole team were on the right side while the Vikings were on the left side. It's kind of similar to how the Bills played them when they were in Miami. Now, the temperature was completely different. The Vikings side had 120 degrees Fahrenheit in heat, and the Miami Dolphins side had around 90 degrees. That's 30 degrees in difference, and I know it's not that of importance, but as the game continues and as the game starts, fatigue and dehydration actually starts to play a part for the Vikings, but not in this case. The Vikings won this game 24-16 after a huge Jalen Waddle fumble where the Miami Dolphins looked like they were about to score and be up in the game, and that was a huge 12-point swing by them not scoring, and then the Minnesota Vikings with the possession right after Dalvin Cook rushed for a 53-yard rushing touchdown, putting the Vikings up to the game and actually winning the game. Teddy Bridgewater actually came back into the game, passing for more than 329 yards, and Tyreek Hill 177 yards, but the Dolphins could not beat the Vikings at home. And one of the biggest upsets of the week, guys, the New York Giants beat the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this game ended 24-20, but it was a huge defensive battle, actually holding Lamar Jackson under 250 yards passing and Mark Andrews 106 yards catching and receptions yards. But it was overall defensive battle for both teams, and at the very end, the Giants actually pulled through and won the game in the final drive, giving Lamar Jackson little to no time to actually make a final play in the final series. And the Giants, guys, this was a huge upset. Congrats to the Giants. That division for the Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, that's going to be one of the toughest divisions. And then out of those three teams, not including the Washington Commanders, but out of those three teams, that's going to be a huge push later on in the season just to see who makes it into the playoffs and who actually goes and competes later on deep into the playoff contentions. And another huge upset, the Pittsburgh Steelers upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, winning the game 20-18. Now, Kenny Pickett, the rookie, actually started this game, but he had to get stopped because he actually did feel fatigued. He actually did get hurt, and Mitch Trubisky took over after halftime, and he actually helped the Steelers out, and he made a huge push, passing for more than 166 yards in a half, and basically gave the Steelers a push and what they needed, connecting with Chase Claypool in one of the final drives to be up into the game. And guys, Tom Brady is not looking like himself. He is struggling offensively. The whole Tampa Bay Bucs offense is struggling offensively. They just are not capable of putting up points like they were used to. Maybe Father Time is catching up with Tom Brady. And now with the Packers versus the New York Jets, in a game where Aaron Rodgers throws for more than 240 yards and actually moved the ball decently, they lost to the New York Jets 27-10. The Jets defense right now, they're playing great defensive ball. Sauce Gardner, guys, is locking down their greatest receivers on the other side of the ball. And actually, the D-line for the Jets, They're playing good. I mean, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon to virtually not move the ball at all, making the game one phase for the Packers, and that is exactly what's going to happen. Zach Wilson threw for less than 150 yards in a game where you actually think the Packers were going to blow out the Jets, even though they were projected to win by more than 8 points. The Packers ended up losing in a week filled with upsets. The Cincinnati Bengals versus the New Orleans Saints, they actually won and beat the Saints 30-26 after trailing basically the whole game. But Joe Burrow threw for 3 touchdowns, more than 300 yards, and 2 of them to his favorite target, Jamar Chase. And he also had 1 rushing touchdown. So 4 total touchdowns for Joe Burrow, and actually helped the Bengals offense move the stick. Now, this was somewhat of an Andy Dalton revenge game. Remember, Andy Dalton played for the Cincinnati Bengals previously, but he could not seal the deal, having the Bengals beating them 30-26. The Carolina Panthers versus the Los Angeles Rams. And actually, guys, this game was a lot closer during halftime than what people may expected, even though the Rams ended up beating them 24-10. Now, one of the biggest news and rumors that's been going on here is that Rule, the head coach, got fired during the week. Now, this caused a lot of ruffles and a lot of issues for Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson actually got kicked out the game by the intern coach because he just kept discussing or getting into a lot of arguments with the wide receiver coach, special teams coach, and basically he just got kicked out the game before halftime. Now, you actually see him like with his hat on the bike and just spinning wheels, but he actually ended up leaving the game and not being part of the team's, fail or loss at the end of the day. Now, Robbie Anderson was acquired because of Matt Rule. That brings up a lot of question marks for Robbie Anderson. Will he get traded? Where will he get traded? And then you have to think about all the cap salary money that's going to be dead money for the Carolina Panthers when they do trade him. But I honestly think this is going to be or was the last game for Robbie Anderson in a Panthers uniform. He will most likely get traded. The Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks have the #1 offense in the NFL right now, but they only put up 19 points against the Cardinals in a game where a lot of defense was played, where both quarterbacks got sacked around 5 times, and actually it was just a field goal battle. Field goals on top of field goals on both ends. I do believe both kickers made 3 or 4 field goals each until the very last end, where Kenneth Walker scored the rushing touchdown to put the Seahawks a little bit above them. And the Cardinals obviously could not keep up because the defense for the Seahawks, they actually played pretty decently. In a game where the Seahawks defense is ranked 31st in the NFL right now, they held their own, forced Kyler Murray to throw a lot of interceptions, a lot of 3-and-outs, and stood up when there was a lot of 4th down conversions, when they did not allow them to get any 4th down conversions. So congrats to the Seahawks. The Buffalo Bills for the Kansas City Chiefs, in my opinion, should have been the Sunday Night Football game of the week, because this was the game where everybody's eyes were glued on. Bills ended up winning 24-20, where both quarterbacks threw for more than 320 yards, and they made plays each and every single time. Now, the only big thing, guys, big question mark, was that everybody played safe. They played zone, they played high coverage, 2-man zone, 3-man zone, cover 3, cover 4. They played a lot of that stuff. So both teams, they had to do a lot of checkdowns, a lot of run plays, a lot of screens, a lot of short passing games. Because it wasn't like the last time where it was just a shootout every single time. This game ended 24-20. Pretty low scoring compared to the last game, right? But it was still high-powered offense. There was a lot of technicalities this time. It was a lot more technical. So that is something that a lot of football people actually do love. And I actually love watching this game, in my opinion. Josh Allen did his thing. Patrick Mahomes did his thing. But the Bills, guys, these two teams will surely meet again in the AFC Championships. And one of these two teams are going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles were entering 5-0 and beating the Cowboys. Now they have a good, better grasp of their own division, where the Giants are 5-1 and the Cowboys are now 4-2. Again, this division is going to be one of the most exciting ones to watch, but the Eagles actually pulled it through. Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles defense is incredible. Now on the other side, the Cooper Rush played decently. Now a lot of big question marks because people were thinking, oh, Cooper Rush should take the starting spot from Dak Prescott. But this just shows you Cooper Rush is decent and could perform under pressure when they're playing against defenses that are only decent. The Philadelphia Eagles defense held them pretty well for the first 3 quarters. Not allowing him to run, not allowing him to pass. It was very sloppy offense on their end. Only Ezekiel Elliott was the only shining star for the Dallas Cowboys this time. But guys, let me know what you guys think about Cooper Rush and how they actually played. But the Philadelphia Eagles, guys, they're not to be played with right now. And right now, they are showing high. That's it, guys. That's week 6. Quick little updates on NFL news. Winners, losers for the week. Let me know what you guys think. Did your favorite team win? And if they did, hit that thumbs up button, hit the like button, subscribe down to the channel. See you guys next time, and peace.